Hello, as I've been promising for quite a while in the newsletter, here is a video update on home groups along with an accompanying survey. First of all, I just wanted to say actually that we're really grateful to those who lead our existing home groups. It's taken a lot of effort and adapting, particularly over the last 18 months as things have been changing again and again, navigating a difficult sort of online environment. So Jeff, David, Stephen, thank you so much. I know that others have been involved in supporting roles as well. Thank you for what you've done in serving our community. Off the back of the month of prayer, one of the strongest things that came out was that we felt God was prompting us to bring some fresh vision to our home groups. And then we obviously followed that up with the church forum, which I know many of you were at, where we talked about what were our hopes and our expectations for home group. And having taught that out, I was really pleased to see that actually there was a lot of common ground. Most people were coming up with the same things, although perhaps they ordered them differently. And some people thought perhaps it wasn't realistic for one home group to deliver on all of that. What also came out really strongly, though, was that for most people, they weren't finding most of those elements in their current group. And for some people, that was fine because home group for them is at this point in time a place of familiarity, stability, and fellowship. And actually not ticking all the boxes wasn't a problem because what they find there is really valuable. Others were perhaps stirred by a desire to experience something more, something different, and perhaps looking for, a sort of a group with a different culture or a different flavour might be the best way to explain it. So the leadership team, rather than proposing that we reboot our existing group culture, we'd like to propose starting a new home group with a focus specifically on discipleship and spiritual growth. Now, what does that mean? Jargon terms can be unhelpful sometimes. What I'm talking about here is, yes, we'll be opening the scriptures together and praying together, but also we'll be looking at sharing what those scriptures mean for our lives, how we're applying them in our lives. We're talking about sharing our own experiences. We're talking about sharing meals together. We're talking about welcoming others' input into our lives, and potentially also sometimes breaking down into smaller groups for accountability and prayer. So that really gives us an option, which is what we're putting out in the survey. Would you like to stick with your existing group and the culture of the existing group that you're in because of what you see and value in that? Or would you like to be part of a new group with a slightly different culture that's more focused on discipleship, fellowship, and personal spiritual growth? That's the choice ahead of you. I'd love it if you would take some time to pray it over and then to respond, and ideally to respond quite quickly. We'd love to see some of these changes coming into force in October, and that will involve us then taking time to process what people have responded with and think about the best way forward. So prompt responses would be really helpful. There'll be a link to the survey below this video if you're watching on YouTube, or elsewhere in the newsletter if you're watching this via the newsletter. So please pray and then do respond as quickly as you can. In the meantime, for September, we're not providing central material for the home groups to work through. We're actually leaving it up to each home group to decide what they'd like to do for September. So do talk to your group leader about what your plans are, whether that's continuing to meet and to discuss the sermon, or whether it's focusing perhaps on just reconnecting and praying together in the situation that we're all in coming out of lockdown. We're leaving that up to individual groups. In the meantime, I hope you are having a fantastic week, and God bless.